All right, show and tell time. Hype level show and tell. These are some of the games that my excitement for leading up to their release was just at an all-time high. And one of the games that the one I was looking for, and I can't find it, and I wonder if that's intentional, was Enter the Matrix. I'm really embarrassed to say this, but the reason I bought that game was the movie was I really liked the first Matrix movie. Second movie was coming out, and there was this promotion. Like, I'd watched this behind the scenes video on the making of the game, and the premise was really cool in that you were playing a game with a story that ran parallel to the main game, and you were playing as like Jada Pinkett Smith's character and the Asian guy. I think his name is Ghost. And the store was doing a deal. If you pre-order the game, you'll get a free movie ticket, and you can go watch The Matrix 2. And so I took advantage. I bought that game on launch day, and it was really bad. Like, really, really bad. And the thing I will never forget about Enter the Matrix was that there were levels. One of the things is that they had a sponsorship deal with, or they had a product placement deal with Powerade. And there were Powerade vending machines in the sewers. Like, they were everywhere. Like, literally sewer level. And you could just see Powerade machines. Like, what is this doing here? It makes no sense that you would need Powerade in the sewers. But it was there. One of the many bad things about that game. Alright, so a couple of games that I was really excited for leading up to launch. And some of these we already talked about. Donkey Kong Country, of course, because leading up to this, I got a promotional video from Nintendo that said, hey, you need to go and buy this game. And they showed you the graphics. They showed you some secrets in the game, and it looked incredible. And it was one I was anxiously awaiting for until it finally came out. And I didn't get this day one. I got it on Christmas that year, but it was an incredible, one of the most memorable Christmas gifts that I remember getting because I was so excited for this game. And at the time, it mostly delivered. So, Donkey Kong Country, big one. Another one I was incredibly excited for, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. This is one where I remember reading the reviews, and it was getting like perfect 10 scores everywhere, and I really enjoyed the Zelda series at that point. And we couldn't get this game. This was selling out everywhere. Like, it took me months before I was able to get a copy of Ocarina of Time after release. And I would be calling stores every day, like, hey, do you have a copy of this? And it was like, no, no, no. And it's weird because games don't sell out anymore, really. And you can just buy it on the digital store, worst case. But this was a different time, and cartridges would sell out, and you would have to wait weeks or months. And I vividly remember one time I was in middle school, and my classmate was telling me the story about how he failed getting Ocarina of Time. He called Walmart and said, do you have Ocarina of Time? They said yes. He hopped on his bike and rode over to Walmart, and he got there, and they'd sold out. So between the time he called and between the time he got there, it's gone. And the less we say about Walmart and video games, the better. So let's move on. Perfect Dark. This is a game that I had pre-ordered for years before it came out. It was pretty much, hey, here's the successor to GoldenEye, and I was all in. And this ended up being a much better game than GoldenEye. Had the futuristic weapons, more really cool weapons. It had 4-player multiplayer with better stages. It had some of the GoldenEye stages. You could play with bots. Like, considering now a lot of multiplayer games don't even have shooters, don't have bots now, and this had up to 8 bots. I think it was, you could have up to 12 people on screen at once, and you could program each bot to have different behaviors. You could have ones that were really aggressive, ones that were really passive, ones that were vindictive. So if a bot, if it got killed, it would target the person that killed them. And so there was so much amazing stuff that happened in Perfect Dark, and I feel like this game does not get the love that it deserves. So Perfect Dark, one of the games I was most excited for, and this game delivered huge, bigly. Oh man, I'm really mad I said that. All right, couple more. This one's a recent one. Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. And do I need to explain really why people were hyped for this one? And like, it's a Zelda game, and the reviews came out, they were phenomenal. I got to play the game myself, and holy cow, it is one of my all-time favorite Zelda games. And just the massive open world and kind of getting that feeling like you could do anything you wanted. You could just walk in a direction and find 20 things that were cool. Made this game so special, and I'm looking forward to seeing the sequel or successor to this one at some point. I didn't stream this one really. I think I streamed on YouTube this one for like an hour or so. And it would be kind of cool to go back and do a proper stream now that we have the infrastructure here to do this properly at a higher level. So yeah, Breath of the Wild. And one more hype level show and tell. A game that I got really excited for leading up to launch. And that was Left 4 Dead. Yeah, wait, what? Left 4 Dead? Yeah. I didn't have any history with Valve shooters at that point. I hadn't played Portal. I hadn't played Half-Life. And the reason this is here is that before the launch of Left 4 Dead, they put out a demo on Xbox Live. And it is one of the best video game demos I'd ever played. And my brother and I ran that demo multiple times. Just like, wow, this is an amazing game. We have to buy this at launch. And yeah, it was phenomenal. And it's kind of funny how people criticized this game at the time for having only 4 campaigns. And it didn't matter in the end. Like, yes, you could technically beat the game in 4 hours, but it was a game you would play over and over again because of how fun it was to run with your friends, and it was unpredictable of when the zombie hordes would come rushing at you. And the multiplayer was a lot of fun, like co-op and competitive. And the only thing that killed Left 4 Dead 1 was Left 4 Dead 2. So this was one that, because of that demo, I got excited for beyond belief. And this one delivered as well.